I beg your pardon?
What's the date?
Today is the
18th. There you are.
Good afternoon. This is the July 18 meeting of the Bolton Board of Selectmen. And we have one item on our agenda this afternoon, and that is an interview of a candidate for the position of treasurer, Kristen Johnson-Knoll. And Don, do you want to do some introductions?
I'd be happy to. Kristen interviewed with Donna and Anachka and myself last week. We were very, very impressed with her. We felt that, we unanimously felt that not only is she a good technical fit with her background and experience, but her personality would fit well into the town hall and be a good team player. So we were, as I said, very excited to find someone of her caliber that's interested in coming to work here. She has our unanimous endorsement, and you know, this is your opportunity to just say a few words about yourself. Let the selectmen get to know you just a little bit. And
well, I have been doing this. I started my municipal career as a collector. I moved to Hardwick, which is about an hour from here, and our current collector in town was retiring. I was out there with 2 small children, and I'm like, why not? And I applied. I was appointed by the Selectmen, and that's what started this journey I'm on. I loved it. I was new to town. It was a great way to meet people, to be introduced, and it was, you know, I felt really like I was contributing. About 2 years later, the treasurer of town, longstanding treasurer, decided she was getting ready to retire as well, and I'm like, well, why not? And both positions were still elected at the time, so I ran for the treasurer, and we combined the position. We kind of revamped how the town ran the financial department. Everyone says you can't do that, and I was met with a lot of hesitation, but I did it, and it was very successful, and it started, it was a great opportunity. I really enjoyed working there. The treasury side, I really enjoyed the diverse set of kind of responsibilities, and collections obviously is a little bit more repetitive. And then I I actually was still working in Hardwick. An opportunity in Hubbardston came up as the treasurer, and I was kind of juggling both towns for a little bit, but decided that Hubbardston was really where I wanted to be full-time. So I'd made the transition, and I've been there for about 4.5 years, and it's been a very interesting and a very rewarding ride, but very dealt with a lot of very unique circumstances. But
interesting.
It's been, yes.
That word covers a lot.
And no, I've been able to, the education and what I've learned over the past 4 years is just invaluable, and I'm hoping to bring that now to the town of Bolton.
I just have one question for you. How do you see the differences in the town? Is it a lot of differences?
You know, the more I talk to Donna, they're really, the general makeup of each town is very similar as far as, population. We actually both work with regional school systems. We have Quabbin Regional School District versus, is it Neshoba? So it's very similar. We use the same payroll softwares. We have the same kind of ideology as far as, tax title collection, different things of that nature. Obviously, I think Bolton has a much richer budget. There's probably a lot more that can be done in a town such as this, whereas Hubbardston is very, they're struggling a little bit as well. But I see a lot of similarities, and this almost is like this is what I would love, my job to be now. It seems like there's a lot of great opportunity to come in and jump in and see what can be done with the right the right budget and the right leadership. So I'm excited.
Great. Thank you very much. You guys have questions?
Well, actually, your question kind of was something I was going to ask, and gave a great answer. I think it's a great town. We have a lot of great people, a lot of hardworking people, a lot of dedicated people in this town. So I think we get along well together. Myself, it's my 5th term in the Selectmen. Did a lot of stuff before, so it's been fun and history. So I think hearing I've talked to Donna and Don after they had interviewed you, and certainly the fact that they have their confidence in you is fine for me. Fine for me, so.
I would agree with that too.
I have two questions based on your comments. So can you just talk a little bit about your time in Hardwick? You mentioned that you made changes there, and if you could just kind of talk about that a little bit more.
Certainly. Well, when I was initially appointed as collector because the former collector retired midterm, and she was there for 18 years, so she was a very long-term resident as well as collector. Everything was handwritten. There really wasn't a formal software system that was being used on a regular basis. So I pretty much came in. Hardwick had a very limited budget at the time. So we used the CAMA system, so we implemented the CAMA for collections. We streamlined different processes, working with the treasurer. But even as I took over the treasury position, again, everything was in a handwritten ledger. So we tried to, we didn't have the funds at the time to merge softwares, so I was using the CAMA again for collection. They were using NEMRIC, which was based out of Vermont, for the treasury, and they were still doing payroll in-house. So I worked with that, for about a year to find out the ins and outs, what it was capable of. We, at that time, I switched payroll over. We still did it in-house, but we did it through Harper's Payroll, which I thought was much more efficient. So I tried to systematize and try to update as much as I could. I didn't want to come in and make sweeping changes right away. I did respect their, and they balanced to the penny every month, so it was never an issue of not being, not doing a great job. But we definitely made a lot of efficiencies. And being in a small town and doing, being one person to do both jobs, you have to embrace that. We actually entered into a contract with Commerce Bank in Worcester for a lockbox service, so that was great. We to minimize just the number of payments that were handled in-house and kind of make it a little bit more efficient and just a little bit less handling. So there was a lot of things of that nature. Just trying to again make each department a little bit more efficient and run a little bit more smoother.
Great. And so on your resume, under skills, you talk about an ability to negotiate with people even in difficult situations. And I just wondered if you could talk about that and maybe give an example or examples, related to people you're working with, but also related to, taxpayers coming in.
We're doing this for almost 12 years. There are probably 1,000,001 stories. But what I find is I think the best approach is you're always going to have the upset person coming in, and it could be as simple as they didn't get their bill in the mail and you're charging them a demand fee. It can be a gamut of different scenarios. Basically, I do try to respect everyone that comes in, and it's interesting, especially when I went to Hubbardston, not knowing one person from another, I would treat everyone the same way, and I didn't care. It just, that's kind of my philosophy, is everyone deserves respect. I don't care who you are, what your situation is, you hear them out, you listen, but there is a point where you have to say, okay, I hear you, and this is, my side of it, and this is what I can do for you. And honestly, in the collection world, there's nothing that you can't fix for. You can waive a fee if it's unnecessarily given. You can talk, try to work with the person as best you can within, of course, the guidelines of Mass General laws. So I just find you do listen, you hear them. I think I have a non-confrontational personality. I don't set people off. I think once they understand that I'm here to listen to you, I'm here to figure out how we can fix the situation, I think they definitely, back off a little bit and just, are a little bit more receptive to what I have to say. And again, follow through. You always have to. If you say you're going to do something, make sure you do. But in Hubbardston, of course, due to the circumstances that I've been in, we've had a lot of situations like that where people they don't even trust the office. They don't trust anything. And you know what? We have a whole new system in place. We give receipts. If someone does still want to give me cash, that's fine. I'm going to show you I will have them watch me post their payments. We have cash drawers. We have accountability. And I'll sit there and I will explain that whole process if that's what they're looking for. And I think that really makes them feel like they're now part of it and they understand what's going on a little bit better. And they do walk away with that understanding. So.
And then how about with your fellow staff?
I have been,
Co-workers.
and I think this is what attracts me to Bolton so much, is I've had the fortunate, I've just been fortunate enough to work with some amazing people over the years. And again, I think in Hardwick, that was probably a good example of coming in, being new in town, first of all, because if you lived there 60 years, you're still considered a newcomer. But coming in with, I guess, my energy level and wanting to make some changes, I received a little bit of pushback, and no, we can't do that. We've done, this, the same way for 30 years. And again, I think it's listening, and they do have valid points. Everyone, coworkers do have valid points, and I guess I stopped and listened. Okay, well, why do you do it this way? And then I kind of gave my input. Okay, well, this is, maybe if we just changed part of that, this is what I see would be a benefit to the town, and maybe we would make things, changes. That's what I think I've encountered the most with coworkers. But again, I've had some amazing mentors along the way, and I've been very fortunate.
Thank you. Great.
Yes.
I just want to say that this position, selfishly, I feel is one of the most important in town. You're handling all the money. If potentially there's going to be a problem, you could have a big problem in this position if you don't have the right person. I couldn't feel more confident in someone taking over than I do with Kristen.
Great.
And it was a scary process, because our first go-round in the resumes we got were not anything that we could have worked with. So, by the grace of God, she dropped into our lap.
That is about the best segue I've ever had.
And we are very lucky
A
to
little humbled by
get
that.
her. Truly, I truly mean that.
That's wonderful. So do we need a vote?
Yes, you would need a motion.
To hire,
Yes,
or?
a vote to appoint, hire Kristen as our treasurer collector.
So I will entertain a motion after that endorsement, which anywhere, I've been to a lot of meetings, never heard one like that.
All right.
The light, did you see it? So I will proudly entertain a motion to have the board vote to hire Kristen Johnson-Knoll for the position of treasurer of the town of Bolton.
Treasurer collector.
Treasurer collector, excuse me.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great.
Okay.
Well, welcome aboard.
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
Oh
Congratulations.
my gosh. Thank you
And I
very
have
much.
her signed.
Congratulations.
I'm happy to have her.
Just happy to have it here.
Thank you so much.
So, Mr. Chairman, before you call for adjournment, I really feel compelled to say that Kristen is inheriting a department that's been extremely well run, and that's due to Donna. The treasurer collector's position, she also did HR, we haven't told her about that one yet, it's one of those things, it's like, if you're a good plumber, nobody knows you were there. It's only when a pipe bursts, when you know the plumber has been there.
I don't think that follows my endorsement.
Donna
What a segue.
Wow, yes.
Donna's done such a good job
Yeah.
that sometimes you just take her for granted, and you don't know how dedicated she is, and she's been extremely dedicated to the town. I mean, she's been in on weekends more times than you can count. Living next door, I'm sure you see her car. I mean, I just drive by to make sure she's here, but she said she's a hyper-responsible person, and Kristen is fortunate to be inheriting the department from her.
I agree.
Yeah.
Fare
I'm a good
thee,
plumber, thank you.
fare thee well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Don.
I didn't work on my analogy, I should have done that.
No.
After Donna's, it's kind of.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Well, Don's like the plumber in the movie Brazil, Robert De Niro.
It's getting worse. I think we should have to adjourn.
I never saw Brazil, so probably we should have just. Can I make a
Are you
motion
sure
to
you don't want
adjourn?
to-
So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Sweet.